What's up YouTube? It's your boy Josh Reese back at it again with another video. So I just got out of my first exam of optometry school and I'm gonna let you know how it went and what I learned. So this first week of optometry school has been a roller coaster. I'm in a class that's called Basic Integrated Sciences, and now I would argue that it's not so basic, but it's basically everything that you've learned in your undergrad in sciences all in one. All the anatomy, all the physiology, all the biochemistry, normal chemistry, biology, everything, all the enzymes, processes, it's all in one class. And so it's kind of like drinking from a fire hose, like I've mentioned before, but it's a ton of information. So there was 12 class hours of this class last week, and this morning we took our exam at 7 a.m. on it, and wow, I was just drowning in work. So I remember last week there was some third years talking about BASI, this class, Basic Integrated Sciences, saying, yeah, most of us failed our first exam and then we learned from that how to study. And they just said, okay, let's raise a hand. How many of you failed, like legit fail, less than 70% fail this exam? And all of them but one put up their hand. And so, you know, first year, studying for that exam right now, I was thinking, no way, right? I'm gonna study so hard. So I, over Labor Day weekend, right, every day, study, so stressed. It felt like I was studying for the OAT again. Just, you know, I got to know all this information. There's a ton of it, just almost everything I've ever learned in my entire life, just right here on this one test. And I was so stressed. But getting out of that exam, honestly, I felt good. I felt like the information, the time that I had put in really paid off in the exam. I didn't know every question, but I knew enough that I was able to finish the exam and with enough time and not feel super stressed about it and feel like I'm passed. Now, I know that if I wouldn't have been super stressed about it, I might not have felt this way, but I really did put in 200% into this exam, into studying. And it was a hard exam, but it wasn't as horrible as I thought it was going to be. So my main takeaway number one is optometry school is still real life. They still don't expect you to have your head in the books 24 hours a day. They know you have family obligations, they know you need hobbies, you need to work out, do whatever, you need to sleep, overall things. But they know that you're not gonna have to study all day every day. Now I do think that I'm still going to have to study way more than I did in undergrad, study way more than, you know, I would on any given week in undergrad, even for finals. But it's still just a normal exam, and for at least Midwestern, all the exams are multiple choice, so it's not that they're going to be able to, you know, draw out the entire Krebs cycle kind of thing. It's more of they're going to take a concept, multiple choice. Take a concept, multiple choice. And so it wasn't horrible. There were definitely things that were tricky. One thing that a professor said, don't worry, you don't need to know this, and it was on the exam. Still tricky things like that, but it wasn't as horrible as some people make it out to be. That being said, don't count on it being super easy because it is still optometry school. Takeaway number two is that while I'm glad I had this exam, not that it was fun to take, but that I know how to study for it. I put too much stress into this first one, but now I know, okay, right, I'm going to need to dedicate some time every single day to study for this one class. Worst part about optometry school is this isn't the only class. Next week I have a midterm with this class and another class, right? So I'm going to have to juggle a few more things, but I do know that I'm going to have to set aside more chunks of time to work on that one exam or that one class. And so that's big takeaway number two, is that now I know how I have to study. You know, if you've gone through optometry school or anything similar, right, you know that after that first really test, you kind of have your feet on the ground. It's nice to be grounded in the information. I went to some office hours of some professors today, and that helped ground me as well. So for all of you looking for help, if you did fail this exam or things like that, at least you're grounded now, and go to the office hours of the people, of the professors. They really they know what they're going to test you on, and when you get in office hours with them, they really take, these slides that you've gone through for 12 hours this week, and they really simplify it down into the things you really need to know. Now, it'd be nice to know that going into the exam, but office hours really helped me. Now, one thing that is really important right here is don't believe everything you hear about how you have to study. Not everything works for everyone. I came into optometry school thinking, study in a group, study in a group. That's the only way. Everyone says study in a group. You have to. And group study, although it is great, it's great in the fact that you can identify what you don't know. And then trying to learn what you don't know in a group is way too difficult for me. When I'm on my own, I have the slides in front of me, I can re-listen to the lecture. That time on my own is very valuable to get my head around some of these concepts. But to quiz each other and to find out areas that you're weaker against, areas that you couldn't explain all the way, areas that you notice some people can explain more than you, okay, now I have what I need to do, and you take it back, and that time on your own can be extra valuable. So that's takeaway number 3 is I studied wrong. I really did think that studying in a group would be for me, and it's not. I still will study in a group occasionally, maybe a little bit, a few times a week, but most of the time that'll help me is rewatching some lectures and going through my notes and really identifying those points, going over them again, and making practice multiple choice problems. I found that the topics that I felt best oriented with were the topics where I not only could make a multiple choice problem out of it, but make a multiple choice problem that has good wrong answers. What I mean by that is one where okay, this is this mechanism, and it's not this mechanism that's similar because of this reason. It's not this mechanism for this reason, and so forth. So really taking away a lot of ideas on how to study. Now it's going to be 4 more years, and it's going to be a lot harder, but at least this first exam, you really understand what's coming and where it's going. Now, I haven't gotten my grade back yet, so I might be a little overconfident. Maybe I did fail, and maybe every question was tricky and I was just way too overconfident. I don't think the professors are that mean, but some professors are that mean, and you just have to deal with that. That's like life sometimes. So I do know that there were a few tricky problems that I did get wrong because I was overconfident, but maybe I'll make a follow-up video when I have my grade to know what's my takeaways now that I knew how well I did on this exam. So last takeaway number 5, is that you need to take care of yourself in optometry school. There was a lot of seminars and things like that we had in our orientation week and through our first few days about mental health and taking care of yourself and learning how to study and meeting with these counselors and stuff. And I didn't see the necessity in my life for that until after the first exam. I realized, wow, I was a stress ball up until this exam. I'm not going to be able to function every day like that. I actually had to get my blood drawn to get some titers for grad school, for optometry school after the exam, and I was so drained mentally that I almost fainted I also have a fear of needles, so now you know too much about me. But my health was sacrificed as well. So if you're going through this, if you've been through optometry school, and if you're going to go through optometry school, just know, take care of yourself. Start now. Don't wait till after you realize that you're not functioning well, after you realize that your stress levels are too high to stop and take time for this. Take time for you, exercise, do all the things you need to do to really put yourself on top and be best equipped to handle 4 years of optometry school. Now, it's crazy. I actually didn't think I'd learn this much going into it. Even the first day, I learned more than I ever thought I would know, and that I don't think I really understood that optometry school is not just undergrad. You are becoming a doctor, and so there's all this knowledge that I didn't think an optometrist would have to know this, but you're a doctor at the end of it all, so all knowledge is fair game. And so I think it's so cool that I'm going to be able to leave optometry school with so much knowledge, and I'm really blessed. Blessed about that. Now that's knowledge you have to pay for, and I'll actually do a breakdown of tuition and how I'm paying for it all in my next video, so stay tuned. Go ahead and smash the like button and comment down below how your first exams in optometry school went, and we'll go ahead and catch you next time. Bye.